Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live on the Pro Arena TV channel, and we are set for the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title. In the blue corner, he comes from Venezuela, El Oriental Gregorio Marcano.
Well, as the familiar fighting anthem of Eye of the Tiger rings out across the hall gate at Ichi Sports Hall, Gregorio Marcano, El Oriental, the 25-year-old Venezuelan who challenged for the UBO International Super Welterweight title last year and was stopped in the 8th. Then jumped up in weight to fight Frenchman Mustafa Zadouche and was stopped in the first round. And tonight, he'll look to take this opportunity once again, fighting in his opponent's backyard. And this is the man he faces, who is fighting on home turf. Magic Dan, the 32-year-old, became the IBA International Champion last year. He challenged for the WBC International title in 2022. That resulted in the only loss for him as a professional out in Dubai, but he's had 3 wins since then. IBA International Champion last year, as I say, and tonight looks to add the WBF Intercontinental title to his collection of silverware.
This fight is sponsored by WBF Romania Professional League and is offered by King Promotions and is sponsored by Cicinor, FSL, Market Digital Graphics Group, Trattoria Don Vito, Letras, Lakeside, by Yola Residence. The official for this fight, supervisors, Mr. Klaus Hagemann, WBF, and Flori Murza, LPB. Introducing the judges from the ringside. Judge 1, Pokovnik Ufane. Judge 2, Karamida Julian. Judge 3, Marcos Bella. Inside of the ring, charge in action, Mr. Philippe Claudio. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most anticipated moment here in Sport Hall in Zalo is the first title in this event. A super fight at super welterweight division, 10 or 3 minutes round for the WBF Intercontinental title. The officials are ready, the fighters are in the ring, so ladies and gentlemen, introducing first in the blue corner, he comes from Caracas, Venezuela, to the El Oriental Gym Club with his coach Gabriel Jesus. 25 years old, 177 centimeters tall, and official weight for this fight, 69.4 kilograms, with a personal record, 50 wins, 13 by KOs, 8 losses, 6 by KOs, and 1 draw. One-time UBO World Super Welter Challenger. Ladies and gentlemen, El Oriental Gregorio Marcano. Across the ring in the red color, he comes from Bucharest, Romania, to the King Promotion Club with his coach, Nicolae Straton. 31 years old, 178 centimeters tall, and official weight for this fight, 69.2 kilograms, with a personal record, 14 wins, 5 by KOs, 1 losses, and 0 draw. One-time IBA International Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Magic Dan, Daniel Buciuc. Doamnelor, domnișoarelor și domnilor, am să vă rog să vă ridicați în picioare, pentru că în onoarea sportivului din colțul albastru se va intona imnul național al Venezuelei. Ladies and gentlemen, in the honor of the contenders in the blue corner, please stand up for the national anthem of Venezuela. mulțumim, doamnelor, domnișoară și domnilor, în onoarea sportivului din colțul roșu, vă rugăm să vă ridicați în picioare pentru intonarea imnului național al României. Ladies and gentlemen, in the honor of the contenders in the red corner, please stand up for the national anthem of Romania. Thank you, vă mulțumim!
Anthems impeccably observed for Venezuela and Romania. Final checks from the referee now. Just about ready to get underway with the first of 3 title fights this evening in Romania. This then for the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title. Daniel Buciuc, or Magic Dan, in the white shorts, the 32-year-old Romanian, and El Oriental Gregorio Marcano, the 25-year-old Venezuelan, in the blue, red, and yellow shorts.
First round.
Plenty of sponsorship advertisement opportunity taken from Buciuc. His back is like a human billboard. Those logos on them. The ink on Marcano of a more permanent nature, of course. Tattoos on his arms and chest as he just jabs away. Both men just feeling one another out at this stage. Just approaching cautiously. Steps in with the backhand, Buciuc, off that double jab. A little bit more snap in that 1-2 there from Buciuc. Starting to ease into this now and find his range bit by bit. Again, Marcano, like the Venezuelans we've seen already this evening, has that relaxed, fluid style. Quite a bit of spite in those shots from Marcano. Nothing landing flush, but you can see the intent. Something for Buciuc to be aware of. Another good shot as well. He's had 13 stoppages of his 15 wins, says Marcano, so packs a punch. Started this year with a bang. Got a first round knockout over Rafael Vicente in Venezuela. Nice counter backhand there from Buciuc. As he backs his man up, tries to work him on the ropes, but Marcano does well just to tie him up. Been a decent opening round from both of them, this. Not a great deal to choose between them. A couple of those attacks from Buciuc so far, though, have perhaps made more of an impression. Just continuing to back his man up, and then when he fires into gear, he explodes with those shots. Perhaps should have to favour Buciuc in that first round. Had more success with his attacks. There's some real snap in those shots. The boxing manager, Mike Altamora, spoke quite passionately about Marcano after meeting him last November. He said that he'd travelled alone from Venezuela to fight a much heavier opponent. He said he was really impressed by this young man trying to better his circumstances through boxing. And Marcano actually gifted Mike Altamora his shorts afterwards, which he says is something that he'll treasure. One of the great things, of course, about any sport is those meetings and that mutual respect. Certainly something that Altamora had in spades for Marcano. Really impressed with the way the young man took the opportunity to jump up a weight, make that journey all the way to France on his own. And although he got beat, certainly earned the respect of those who were involved with that show, but he's got work to do here as we enter the second round, and there's a much sharper opening couple of moments from Buciuc than we saw in the first. He's settled now, he's felt his way through the first round, and he's starting to put some attacks together with a little bit more intensity. It's a nice solid jab from Buciuc, which allows him to set up his attacks on the back of it. Nice combination there. Marcano increasingly under pressure from the Romanian. Has he got the power to make Buciuc respect it? Because if he hasn't, he's going to have to perhaps up the work rate and incorporate a bit more fluidity and movement, because Buciuc seems to have grown in confidence in this second round, but a decent little rally from Marcano there. Nothing getting through, though. Scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds, this, of course, for the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title. Just fell in over his front foot with that backhand there, Marcano. Just needs to keep his feet beneath him, especially as he's going to lead off with that lead hand, that backhand, sorry. Again, just needs to bring his feet with him if he's going to let that backhand go. Whether he leads off with it or it's off the jab, as it was on that last occasion. Got to step in a little bit more, Marcano. A ferocious attack now, though, from Buciuc. Does well to set himself again, though, and not get too carried away chasing Marcano. But again, signs of what he's capable of when he steps things up. Nice uppercut there from Marcano, found its way through. Nice work on the inside. After a close first round, you'd have to say that was a more dominant round for Buciuc. His only loss as a pro came in November 2022, when he lost on points to Ermal Hadbibej for the WBC International Super Welterweight title. That was out in Dubai. But he has had 3 wins since then, all on points. He became the IBA International Champion last year. Looking to have more silverware this evening. And you can see that he has more gears to go through, the Romanian, because when he really sets about Marcano, you can see the real intensity about his work. And it's whether Marcano can weather those storms and make the necessary adjustments as we enter round 4.
Round 3.
Nice and tidy is Buciuc. Does the basics well. His feet provide a decent foundation for him and doesn't take any unnecessary risks. It's good technically. Works well off that jab. Marcano just increasing his head movement just to try and draw something from Buciuc to counter off, perhaps. Just waited a little too long there, though, and was caught by Buciuc in range. Nice work to the body from Buciuc there. Just got to be careful having his guard low, Marcano, when he's stepping away. Had that fully connected, it could have been an early night for the Venezuelans. So he's got to be a little bit more savvy when he's on his way out. Keep his guard up. Good exchange from the two there. Marcano working off the ropes. Switching stance momentarily. Marcano, southpaw, leads off with that backhand. Back into orthodox now. Neither man really dominating completely, but Buciuc certainly, from my viewpoint, has the better of it. Nice backhand there. And that's where, in at close range, when a fighter like Buciuc throws those straight shots, will get to the destination more quickly than those looping shots that Marcano is deploying. Nothing wrong with those looping shots. They can be really effective, but just needs to choose when he throws them. Leaves his head right up, does Marcano, in those exchanges on the ropes. And if Buciuc can just find that opening, it could be a really dangerous position for Marcano. So lets his hands go, takes that little layback, but his head is right up in the air. So he's got to be perhaps a little bit more savvy defensively, the Venezuelan. But a good contest, this one so far. Well matched, these two. WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title on the line. A long way to go yet. Neither man has fully staked his claim for it just yet, so everything to play for. This the first of 3 title fights this evening. Florian Fighting Promotions and Stephen Vaughan putting this show together. Great opportunity for these fighters to shine on the Box Academy platform. That's exactly what it's for, of course. Great experience for these fighters.
Round 4.
The whole week has been a great build-up, so from the weigh-in and the face-offs and everything else involved, all good experience for them. Marcano just pushing Buciuc back for a moment, but Buciuc, a ferocious attacking response. Marcano, lots of head movement, just trying to fashion a response from Buciuc, but it's not forthcoming. Really effective, that jab for Buciuc. Snaps it out, takes any of the rhythm and momentum away from Marcano as he tries to set himself. He's utilised it really well as the Romanian. Works to the body, and that's good from Buciuc. Didn't quite connect with the backhand, but you can see how he's trying to set it up, dropping to the body and coming over the top, because Marcano does tend to lay back and have his chin up off the ropes. Just trying to exploit that, Buciuc. Buciuc undoubtedly will have come into this one fully aware of that record that Marcano has, 15 wins and 13 by stoppage. So in the first round he was rather cautious, just trying to get a feel for the power, and there goes that chin up in the air, and that's exactly what Buciuc needs to exploit. Dropping down to the body and coming over with that backhand is the perfect combination to capitalise on that. Buciuc always busy with that jab. Even if not too many exchanges happening, he's still racking up the points and catching the eye of the judges with those frequent jabs, snapping them into the face of Marcano. Another good round for Buciuc there. Decent effort from Marcano, of course, keeping it competitive, giving Buciuc plenty to think about, but the Romanian having the best of it in each of these rounds, and he's both breathing heavily. They've invested a decent amount into these 4 rounds, but still a long way to go, but everything to play for. WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title on the line.
Second zone. Round 5.
A reminder that we have Buciuc of Romania, Magic Dan in the white shorts, and El Oriental, Gregorio Marcano of Venezuela, in the red, yellow and blue. Been a decent scrap this so far, as Marcano just loading up and chasing his man across the ring, and might have decided just to throw caution to the wind here and see what happens. The two ended up in a tangle though, and Buciuc weathered the brief storm. plenty of instructions coming from both corners. Living every shot of this, they are with their fighters. Lead hook just catches Marcano as the see the water just spray off the forehead of the Venezuelan. Again, becoming a little bit messy, this one, as the referee just separating the two. Trying to load up with his shots, Marcano. The intent was there, but not quite able to land anything clean. Fatigue perhaps setting in a little bit here, hence the prolonged holding. And he's starting to hold more frequently, Marcano, so really important for Buciuc to get something significant off in between. Otherwise, rounds like this, they can roll by. You've not really been able to get to work. And again, as Buciuc just tries to muster an attack, he's tied up again. Been a fairly messy round, this one. Halfway point then in this WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title fight. Daniel Buciuc of Romania and Gregorio Marcano of Venezuela. On the way, of course, we've got the WBF World Super Middleweight title, Mirel Dragan and Slavjan Janjanin. And then top of the bill, headlining this evening, the IBO Youth World Cruiserweight title, Andre Florian and Edison Saltarin, who's ringside at the moment, screaming instructions at his fellow Venezuelan, Gregorio Marcano, demonstrating quite an animated manner exactly what he wants to do in the form of shadow boxing at the side of the ring. He's got his hand wraps on, he's got his kit on, but already expending some energy in support of his teammate. Every fighter's different. Some choose not to come out and watch teammates because it can get their adrenaline going peaked too early and use too much energy. Others, they like to get out there, have a feel for it, cheer the teammates on, and before they go into battle themselves. Good job again from Buciuc. That's been really effective, and he needs to utilize it more in this round. Neglected it a little bit more in the previous round, and we've got far more of this in the fifth round. The two in a tangle. Neither man really too quick to push the other off and go back to work, both taking a breather at every opportunity, it would appear. Just trying to get that fluidity and movement into his work, Marcano, but again, frequent these tangles and the stopping the flow of the fight for sure. Nice work from Buciuc. Switch downstairs, and that was really good work from him. But Marcano again manages to be evasive and hang on. trying to step in behind that jab there, Buciuc, but Marcano a little bit too slippery to pin down on that occasion. Good work to the body, though, from Buciuc as he pounces on his man. I think the referee has spotted that bit of tape hanging from the glove, the right glove of Marcano, so he goes to get some repairs in the corner. Better this from Buciuc. Nice work of angles and just pivoting round to find the gaps. A couple fired back in response from Marcano, though. Certainly not allowing Buciuc to switch off. Although, in my view, he has had the better of every round so far, the man from Romania. Atmosphere tonight here inside the Horgate Tadic Sports Hall. Pyrotechnics and laser lights adding to the atmosphere. Plenty of fight fans are on level with the ring, but then the seating, such as it is in the sports hall, is tiered. So a good view for those looking down on the ring, of course. Of course, Edison Saltarin takes on Andre Florian, top of the bill tonight. He's been ringside the last couple of rounds, screaming instructions at Gregorio Marcano. And there's a problem with the glove here. It seems that Marcano's corner are indicating that he's not fit to continue. He's waving at the referee to say he can't continue, and at first, I think the referee thought they might be just making some adjustments to that glove, the right glove, where there was a little bit of tape hanging off. But it seems they're removing the glove from his right hand completely, which would indicate possibly an injury to Marcano. And indeed, that has been confirmed. So he's retired on his stool, has Gregorio Marcano. It would appear that perhaps that is due to an injury, because he wasn't hurt or rattled in the previous round. So perhaps would have to come to the conclusion that there is an injury, and that's why they are pulling him out, because of course the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title on the line, which is being held aloft in Buciuc's corner at present. Disappointment on the face of Marcano, understandably. He was still very much in that fight, although did have Buciuc ahead. He was absolutely still in it, and there's still a long way to go, but clearly cause for concern enough for his corner to pull their man out. So an early finish in this, the first of 3 title fights this evening. WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title will remain in Romania in the hands of Daniel Magic Dan Buciuc. 14-1-0. He came into this. He goes to 15-1-0. Good start to 2025 for the 32-year-old. Let's get our official announcement now as the 2 boxers make their way to the centre of the ring with the referee. see this evening George Teish just making his way into the ring to make the official announcement. The green and gold belt, the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title will shortly be handed to Daniel Buciuc.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the decision in this fight. After 1 second into the 17th round, winner by TKO and new WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight Division champion, the Magic Man, Daniel Buciuc.
Fonda, Florian, please. Florian, you together. Pull in now.
Alături de noi în această seară un meci extraordinar, încă o luptă reușită. Daniel, câteva cuvinte pentru public.
Bună seara! Mă simt onorat să lupt din nou la Zalău. Pentru mine este o seară minunată. Am obținut al doilea titlu în cariera mea și îmi doresc să am o nouă oportunitate pentru Statele Unite sau Emiratele Dubai. Emiratele Arabe. Cer scuze, sunt emoționat. Țin să vă mulțumesc tuturor. Sunteți un public minunat și m-am simțit extraordinar la Zalău. Vă mulțumesc! O seară bună!
Mulțumim și câteva cuvinte din partea sponsorului acestei lupte. În aplauzele noastre, proprietarul Conzărai și Monaco, let's go! Andrei!
Bună seara tuturor! Vă mulțumesc că ați venit într-un număr atât de mare să-i susțineți pe acești minunați băieți, pe acest sportiv. Îi spun și eu felicitări lui Daniel și cât mai multe victorii pe mai departe. Doamne ajută și seară frumoasă în continuare!
Mulțumim, doamne și domnilor, acesta a fost primul titlu al serii. În aplauzele noastre, The Magic Man, Daniel Buciuc!
So a win for Daniel Buciuc then, WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight belt around his waist. Delighted for him and his team. Just briefly caught a word with one of the cornermen for Gregorio Marcano, who retired on his stool. Wasn't able to communicate fluently, of course, because we had a language barrier, but I was basically asking what had happened. I asked if it was his hand, maybe a hand injury, and he said no, indicated it was to do with his breathing, so perhaps might not be feeling too good or might have had a little bit of an illness prior to this fight coming into it. Obviously had a long journey as well, so seemed to indicate it was something to do with that, but a real shame anyway for the young man from Venezuela, who of course will come again, but this night belongs to Daniel Buciuc, the Romanian, who adds the WBF Intercontinental Super Welterweight title to his collection. Two title fights remaining here tonight. Mirel Dragan next against Slavjan Janjanin. That's for the WBF World Super Middleweight title. And then top of the bill still to come. And the roof will come off when Andre Florian enters the ring, who co-promotes tonight's event with Stephen Vaughan. He faces Edison Saltarin, the third and final Venezuelan to appear on tonight's card. And on the line, the IBO Youth World Cruiserweight title. Still to come.